Everyone, Jaymes Mansfield here bringing you yet another video. And if my voice is a little weird, I'm just getting over being sick, you guys. So just bear with me. The voice may fade in and out, but it is what it is at this point. But I'd like to bring you another episode of, and I'm very interested to see how this high note's going to go. Iconic blondes. Oh my gosh. It like skirted out there. Oh, it's going to be a long night. Now, in today's Iconic Blondes, I wanted to bring you the most iconic blonde of Mexico. Yes, Miss Paulina Rubio. Yes, the golden girl herself, Paulina Rubio. I'm going to do a hairstyle she wore while performing her song, Mio. Yes, her hit, Mio. So I'm going to get my wig block right here, and I'll be right back. Before we begin, this video is brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped is one of the leading brands in men's grooming, and I, Jaymes Manscaped, ought to know. Yes, Manscaped is proud to bring you their brand new line of Manscaped products. Yes, they have Manscaped deodorant and Manscaped body spray available in their brand new package, the Ultra Premium package. With this, you get these as well as Manscaped chapstick and Manscaped body wash and shampoo. Oh my God. But wait, there is more. You can also, of course, get their classic line of razors like the Lawnmower 4.0. Yes. And I'm not going to let you off the hook just yet. If you use my code, JamesM, you can save 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com. What a deal. What are you waiting for? Oh my gosh. I'm so good to you. Yes, get Manscaped today. Your balls will thank you. All right, let's get started. Now, first things first, this is going to be a high ponytail kind of look. So I'm going to start by teasing out this base. Now, Paulina Rubio is actually the daughter of a famous actress in Mexico. Yes. So she got a very quick start in showbiz, one might say. Some say it was a privileged upbringing, but she doesn't see it that way. But from there, she auditioned to be a part of a children's performance group called Timbiriche. Now, what is interesting about this group, though, is because, like, girl, it was like sort of a little bit like a Menudo kind of group, like a teeny bopper, you know, co-ed, male and female. And it featured the likes of Thalia. She was one of her bandmates. And they had lots of hits all over. Like, not just Mexico, like other countries too, like Brazil and everywhere. Like, they were a huge deal. And like, they toured all over the world. It was a really, really big deal. And the way it went was, like, the public had this fascination with Thalia and Paulina. Like, for some reason, they always tried to pit the two of them against each other or make it seem like in the papers and tabloids that they did not get along. Whereas Paulina and Thalia have both done their due diligence to make sure this is not the case. Like, everyone knows, like, they are not rivals. This is not true. They're friendly with each other, but they are certainly not rivals. Paulina even admitted in interviews that, like, they fought like sisters because, you know, you're in a band, so you're gonna have fights. Like, that's unavoidable. But they always would make up because, you know, it's your coworker, you have to. But from here, Paulina was beginning to blossom into a woman. And a solo career was on the horizon. Like, Thalia had already bounced from Timbiriche. She was already experimenting with all sorts of genres, trying to find her niche. Paulina took her time, and eventually when the 90s came around, she went solo. And the way they repackaged Paulina Rubio was like, whoa. Because, like, she wasn't necessarily, like, really, really glamorous in Timbiriche. Like, she was, you know, a teenager. You know, she looked appropriate for what you'd expect of a teenager in a teeny bopper band. But when she was repackaged as a solo artist, she was a woman now. They gave her a complete overhaul, a makeover. They had done a lot of, like, arching on her eyebrows and filled them in a lot. Like, she had some really thick eyebrows around this time, like supermodel 90s makeup, like full-on lined, lips overdrawn, lots of eyeliner, and really, really big blonde hair, like sort of a 90s reference to, like, you know, old school Hollywood kind of hair. And she was always wearing gold, which would make sense because her debut album was called The Golden Girl. And it became sort of a signature for her the rest of her career. She's always wearing some sort of shade of gold, usually. It's a very rare occurrence she's not wearing gold. Which, you know, if you find something that works for you, stick with it. Now, everything seemed like it was going Paulina Rubio's way, but there was some darkness on the horizon. But I will get into it as soon as I get done teasing this out. So I'll be right back. All right, we are back. Now I have the hair all teased out in the back, and she is long, which is what we need for the style because like it's like a pullback like Ariana Grande with a really, really, really long fall in the back. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a temporary tie up top. Now, where was I? Oh yes, Paulina Rubio. Now, for the 90s, she had basically started off her solo career right. But there was a little bit of controversy, you know, in the waters of Paulina Rubio. Now, when she was recording the song Mio, it was actually a response song to another artist, Alejandra Guzman, who had made a song about Paulina called Guerra. Now, the backstory goes is it actually surrounds a guy. They were fighting over a guy. They both wanted the same guy, and Paulina Rubio ended up winning out, and also winning out in the end with the song because she got the hit song out of it. It was quite the scandal, and they were making songs by each other and knocking each other in interviews. It was a real hoot to watch. And what I like most about this feud is the fact that like now they've completely buried the hatches because they realized how silly the whole thing was to begin with. Like they actually went on tour together and everything. Like Alejandra Guzman is like a scary looking woman. Like she's like a cigarette come to life. Like she is captivating and she's got this really deep husky voice that like really commands you when you hear her sing. Whereas Paulina was more, you know, the polished pop star end of the spectrum. You know, like Britney Spears-ish of Mexico, if you will. You know, dance pop, a little bit of alternative music later on, but for the most part, when she debuted, she was pop. And her image was a little more clean cut as far as, you know, the standards of the time goes. Like she was still in like bustiers and short shorts and stuff. But, you know, it was more of a, you know, debuting pop star kind of look, the way she was packaged. Whereas you look at her contemporaries like Alejandra Guzman, she'd be in like torn fishnets and like pleather bustiers and hair wild and crazy, very seductive dance moves, like really different ends of the spectrum. And it's all over some guy, which is silly, and I'm glad they actually buried the hatchet and moved on from it because it was so silly to fight over a man. But when you look at the track records, Mio was the hit that really propelled out of there. It was Paulina's first hit. And honestly, it is my absolute favorite song of hers. And it's my favorite era of Paulina Rubio is like her debut all the way to like mid 1995, where this hairstyle comes from, where she got real glamorous, like Madonna-esque. And what I found fascinating is like from watching interviews with Paulina Rubio, what was interesting about the music at that time, especially like Timbiriche and stuff, like in Mexico at that time, she was explaining how in the 80s especially, it wasn't really popular to be listening to Spanish music. Everyone wanted to hear American music, you know, like Madonna and Culture Club and all that. Whereas Timbiriche really helped bring popularity back into people listening to Spanish music again. Oh, and did you know she was in soap operas? Like, I feel like that must have been like a pop star standard. Because like Talia is the queen of soap operas. Paulina Rubio, not so much. Like she was in quite a few, but not nearly as many as Talia. But I guess that's what happens when your mother's an actress. Like, you cut your teeth in show business. And, like, watching some footage of her in those 90s soap operas where she's just, like, so done up and her hair is so huge. Like, it takes your breath away, like, whoa, the way they painted this girl up. Now, I've mentioned this before when I've talked about Talia, but what I like about Mexican artists like Talia and Paulina Rubio, like, they're pop stars. They really did not stick to any particular genre when it came to music. Like, they were constantly evolving their sound. And Paulina Rubio is no different from that. Like, her original sound when she came out, like I said, was very standard pop music. Whereas she started to evolve into getting more into dance pop, alternative music, rock music. Like, she has run the gamut. And, like, when she eventually crossed over here in the United States, this is where I remember Paulina Rubio, was the Don't Say Goodbye era. Like, you know, the Bally Total Fitness song where she's on the motorcycle. Yes. Iconic. That's the Paulina Rubio I distinctly remember growing up. Like, I, again, didn't really grow up hearing her music, so, like, I had no idea really who she was until much later on. It wasn't until I started dating Ernie I started to like learn more and more about these pop stars that like honestly I never heard them before. And it's always so fascinating to learn more about them and just like how influential they were. And like the more you explore their catalog, the more it floors you just how, you know, influential, one, they are, and two, just like risk taking. Like Paulina Rubio, Talia, Alejandra Guzman, like all these wonderful women, they all took risks with their sound. Jenny Rivera as well. Because like there wasn't really a blueprint for them to follow as far as a Mexican pop star goes. Like they're all just kind of like going off of, you know, taking risks and basically carving out an image and, you know, a spot for themselves wherever they could. All right, now I'm going to smooth this out a little bit and I'll come back and we're going to refine some. Be right back. All right, we are back. Now, I smoothed everything out. Now, what we need to do here is like finishing touches, okay? So, I found this. It's this piece of trim. Now, she had a gold scrunchie in her hair, but I don't have anything gold, so this is the most I can do. We're doing silver today, okay? This is my take on it. So, I'm just going to wrap that to cover up the hair tie blend. And be careful with it because this stuff loves to eat hair. It's going to create like an adornment for the hair. And if it catches something, oh well, I can always brush it back or cut it away. And snake it up too while I'm at it. Why not? Because hers kind of went up high. It was like pebbles from Flintstones. Bobby pinned that in place. Because it was really cool. It was like really a funky like disco pony. And play around with the hair some just to mix it up. Because hers is a bit messy. Because it wasn't about neatness. It was more or less just like being a funky 90s hairstyle. So that the hairspray just absorbing the curls. Okay. Now, Paulina Rubio at this point in time, like she's kind of, you know, she's established. She is a legend as far as like pop music goes in Mexico. And she's kind of like doing the gamut like legends do, where like they're on The Voice, they're on X Factor. She was on X Factor here in the US. I do remember that. That was like one of my first reintroductions to her. I was like, Paulina Rubio, I haven't heard that name in a while. Oh. And like again, like you get to learn more and more about who she was, especially since I didn't grow up with the music. And apparently she was also a judge on The Voice in Mexico. And she was actually there the same time as Jenny Rivera. And like she told really sad stories about how they were actually traveling at the same time. And when she got to the studio, Jenny Rivera's plane hadn't shown up yet. And they hadn't quite known exactly what had happened to her. And she said she could barely get through the taping. It was so sad. Like everyone was just so worried and like the worst fears had come true. Okay, now the hairstyle is looking just about ready. I'm just adding a bit more spray to give the curls more of a gel look. Add some fun to them. But she's looking like her. I have to say, yes, I'm excited to wear her. This scrunchie is totally giving like a Flintstones vibe. Like it's totally like disco pebbles from the Flintstones. And I'm living. So I'm going to do some finishing touches and put her on my head. And I'll be right back with the final results. Welcome back. This is the final result. Oh my God. I actually am low-key obsessed with this. Like I love this little like height right here. It's like princess, you know, princess pebbles. I love it. It's a really fun, cute, very 90s hairstyle. Like it's almost Fran Drescher-esque in the way it's pulled up like this. This is the hair. Look at her. She's gorgeous. And she got the long fall in the back. Like her hair was all the way down to her back. Like it is beautiful and totally not all her hair. Oh my God, I'm obsessed. Okay, this was so much fun to do and so much fun walking down memory lane. So glad I got to do Paulina Rubio finally, one of my favorites. Now, if there's any other iconic blondes you want to see, be sure and let me know down below. I'm always open to suggestion and maybe bump someone up on the list that's already there. But please, 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 when you do this, think about someone with a very interesting hairstyle or at least a good catalog of hairstyles to choose from. Because a lot of y'all comment people that just have flat hair. I don't know what to do. Like, there's not really much I can do for a wig with hair, okay? So, you know, let's try and think of some people that have a good catalog of hairstyles. Now, I'd like to take a moment, a Venmo moment where I thank everyone who's tipped me on Venmo. I would like to thank Sergio, Adam, oh my God, thank you so much. You wrote a really sweet message. Let me read it out, okay? It says, "Hi, James. I lost my mom to cancer early in the year, and binging your YouTube videos has brought me so much joy and laughter during a really tough time. So I just want to say thanks for being so funny and iconic and wonderful. You're a superstar. Thank you so much, Adam. And I'm glad I could bring a smile to your face in such rough times. And thank you, Shelby. Oh my goodness. It says, I'm in love with your iconic blonde series. I love not only seeing you do these gorgeous styles, but getting to hear the history around these icons. It makes my day. You're amazing. Thank you, Shelby. Patrick. And Patrick again. My goodness, Patrick. As well as a cash appetizer from Ava. Thank you, Ava. Thank you all so much for the tips on Venmo and the cash appetizers. Oh my gosh, now this was so much fun to do. I have to thank you guys so much for watching and supporting the Iconic Blonde series. I'm having a blast doing it. And again, I apologize. My voice has been kind of in and out. I'm recovering from being sick, so it's been a rough couple of days. But I'm happy I could pop back on and make some content for you folks. Now, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, bye. Now hit the outro. Click here and watch my mail time video, or see my last episode of Iconic Blondes. It was Lil' Kim. Come on, click it. You know you want to. If you don't click it, I'll give you this terrible cold I'm dealing with. So click it.